What is going on, guys? So this is a topic, and I got several topics for today. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them. Actually, I got two. I think I can get to one today, maybe another one later on. However, as you can see by the title, Millennials for the New Age slash Xanax babies, and it's a rough title, I know, but there's a reason. There's a reason why. Me, I'm a 27-year-old. Okay, I'm an elder. I'm an older peer. And right now I'm speaking to the older peers with this video. Those that are in music, those that do interviews, I don't care if you're mainstream YouTuber type, even a big YouTuber, I don't even care if you're like the underground person. But this is something that we need to stop doing, and it's causing problems, correct? We need to stop forcing what we liked, what we listened to, onto the younger kids now coming up. I know from last year, even now, it's the year of the littles. The littles are coming back. I understand back in the 2000s and such, everyone's come out little this, little that as a rap name. And now it's starting to come back and be a thing again. And these people ain't even little, they're tall as hell. They're decent size. And every 5 years there's a generation gap. Every 5 years there's a decade gap. Then a millennial gap every 20 years. Let me fix that. For me, we just need to stop this because from the music, and this is music. A lot of these younger ones are coming up. They're getting interviewed. They're being set up because they're not being trained by their labels. They're not media trained for a lot of these questions and how to properly answer them. One of the main questions that keep coming up is, what do you think of Tupac or Big? Were you inspired? And they say the music is trash or boring, we don't care, or Drake is better than such and such, things of that nature. And I understand when you look at the ages of that kids, what we hear that are saying this, they're saying, oh, well, he's saying, oh, well, he's 20 or 21. The truth is, when you're in the industry, when you're under somebody higher than you, they're gonna have you lie. A lot of these kids are not in their 20s yet. These are 2000s babies from 2000, 2003 being born, and then coming up from now. A lot of them from the age of 17, 18, and that range. They're not even hitting the 19 mark yet, let alone being 21. Okay? That's the honest to God truth. They didn't come up listening to what the 70s babies were listening to in the 80s, which were Run DMC, African Bambatas, De La Soul, Eric Kim and Rock B, Roxanne Shante, the MC Lights, Curtis Blow. Even in the 90s, a lot of us that came up in the 90s as well as children and now adults with kids of our own that's going into our 30s now in the going into the mid 2000s, right? We grew up listening to a lot of the 90s music that was in there now. From the Tupacs, the NWAs, the Snoop Dogg's, the Dr. Dre's, Will Smith, the Queen Latifahs, all the music that was going on through the 80s and 90s. I still listen to that stuff. I especially a lot of people that have the past or don't do music anymore. Even some of the one-hit wonders that came and gone, or was just a hit song but no wonder behind it. And for you guys wonder why I'm doing this, man, I came out shower not long ago and I'm like hot. You know, when you get out the shower, you steam still, and you're still hot, and everything got lights burning. Yeah, but a lot of that, just anybody that sees my videos about my music videos, CD collection, vinyl, cassette, things of that nature, know the kind of people I listen to, the music I listen to. That's what I was brought up on. Even some influence came from the some of the anime cartoon theme songs, or certain sounds from like Ed and Eddie, Dexter's Laboratory, etc., etc. Even now, I get inspired by music more from a video game or a movie than I do actual music itself. So when I get to, creating anything, you know, things of that. And we got to stop asking these younger generations about what do you think of these people. They were not born at the time. These are before the Pac era. These are before. Like I said, a lot of these new rappers now, they're at the ages of 17, 18 years old, and they're not close to hitting 19 to 21 yet. Like I said, the people over them are having them lie about their age. A lot of them are still young. And we're starting to see this come out now with the issue with Lil Pump. I could have swore the brother was 19 years old. Come find out, he's 17. He turned 17 not long ago. NBA YoungBoy, even though I think he's trash, and I do believe he does. I do believe that he does brainwash his girlfriend, and that he is abusive to her in many ways, and she's too afraid to come out and say it because he probably will hurt her or kill her. He's still young. You've seen how his mother reacted, how she is. She failed as a parent raising him. So it's really both of their faults. He's still young. He's like 18 years old. But what I'm going with this is we gotta stop asking them these questions because they weren't raised on the music we were raised on. They don't know who these people are. They don't know their music. They're not inspired by that. The reason why they think it sucks because these younger kids today, they weren't raised of seeing drugs being sold on the streets, gang violence, gun violence. No, what we have now are millennials of Xanax babies that were raised on drugs, doing drugs, and sad to say that the cracked addicts are now the inspiration to the newer younger generation of today. It's a sad thing. I understand, 80s, you were inspired by the people who wanted to stop the dealers, who didn't like it. 90s, we were inspired the drug dealer, selling to get by. And then we inspired from the early 2000s of the people that sold it to get rich / bubblegum snap music. And now it's inspiration of being the crackhead that's killing a lot of our kids today with the overdoses, being addicted. Rather than asking them things in the past, they don't know. We live in the microwave era, the fast food era of the generation of today, along with music. There's quality over quantity, and a lot of it is more quantity than quality, to where you put it out, boom, here's this week for a couple of hours. Okay, everyone wants to, okay, what's the next big song? Just going and going and going and going and going and going and going. By the time you put out a project, it gets overlooked, or if it gets so many, or it gets listened to, it comes in at the lower streams, to where you only gain 40 something, 30 something streams, and this is how many sales, etc., etc. Because today's younger people, they don't know what a project is, they don't know what an album is, what a mixtape is, but they just call it a project. To where, okay, this is the music, boom, this is the title for all this project, blah blah blah. And it's longer music, the time frames, the time of music, 2 minutes, with the track listings like 20, 30 something songs. When streaming, you could just stream it, boom boom, play it whenever you want. Physically, there's an attention span. That attention span isn't there. So CDs wouldn't work for today's young people, let alone putting out vinyls. And there's 3 vinyls right now that I have seen, from Cultured to Little Yachty's and then Lover's Rage 2 by Little Uzi. They don't know what them are. I don't even think they even know what a CD looks like, let alone a vinyl. But the thing is, along with this, rather than asking them things, because that, they were growing up listening to D4L, which is bubblegum snap music with dancing, 50 Cent, Young Jock, people from Cash Money. It goes into Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake, Young Thug, Chief Keef, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross. Them about the ones I can name that the 2000s babies growing up listening to, even as they started aging and getting older through their high school years, which are probably still going on now, I guess, in a sense, if you finished or not. Or even now, if you really narrow it down who they listen to, Drake, Cardi B, Young Thug, Rick Ross, Kendrick Lamar. Now that's 5. And you take that, you dumb it down to a lot of the sound that goes into it, and you just put it out. And it's a lot of the turn up music, I guess is what they call it. A lot of the drug turn up music, into where you're talking about doing them, getting so high, messed up, overdosing, etc., etc. And it becomes a hit. To where we need to start asking them those questions, not asking them why you doing the drugs. Because 100% of the time, a lot of these kids ain't doing them. Well, I take them back. You got some aren't, some ain't. Little Xan, he's probably popping Xanax. But I don't really... You could tell that he's high when he does his stuff. Yachty, you could tell he's a weed smoker, but he ain't doing drugs. Uzi, I think he is doing some kind of narcotics there. Just a lot of these ones now with all the littles in their name that came out of high school like a year or 2 years ago. A lot of them being influenced by Book, Boot Gang. He's definitely a Xanax person that does a lot of pills and promotes the narcotics. And then, along with that, rather than asking them that question, because they're going to do what they're going to do, we need to ask them, who inspired you? Because the truth of the matter of fact is, you were born in the 2000s, bruh. Who inspired you 2000s? Who's your inspiration for your music then, and your little, and now, as you're going into your early adult years? Who's the influence with, what's the influence with your sound? What helps you come up with the lyrics you come up with? And then they're not lyrics, I know. They're ad-libs and backgrounds and gibberish. Yeah, hey, things of that nature. Just ask them, but don't just ask them about the stuff in the past. They don't care about that. They weren't born then. They won't know. Don't ask them why do you do the narcotics, because most of them do narcotics anyways. I don't know. I can't really say too much about them being influenced by Mike Mill. I'm not a Mike Mill fan, but I know his music is storytelling in a sense. His music, for me, doesn't inspire these younger generations because they're not into that. They're more of into what they want to hear. Mike Mill appeals to an older audience. The brother's 35, has several more years before he's 40. But I think us as the older peers, we need to stop asking these younger people about stuff in the past. They're not interested. They're not interested in it. Don't force them on it. Don't tell them to do their research. Look, whenever they have free time and downtime of their own, and they're not doing nothing, then yeah, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind researching that, looking into it, But let them do it on their time. Ask them what influenced them. Ask them who's their influence. Their sound. What makes you come up with stuff that you say? Ignore the stuff in the past questions. They weren't born then. God forsake someone asking about the damn narcotic stuff, because they probably go on forever. And it's true what they say, rappers like drug dealers like rappers. But I just think us as an older generation, we need to stop asking those questions to them. The things from the past, they're not influenced by it. They wouldn't know what that stuff is. Even now, they look at us like what the hell are these people talking about? Even when it's like older person talking to older person, they look at us. Younger ones look at us like, like the iPhone 5. Like, oh, that's so outdated. We're like the iPhone 12 or something. Or like we're Windows 95. They're Windows 11. You feel? Something like that. So I understand that most of us, especially I'm not up with today's times. I'm not. I'm not. And I don't care to be, I move at my own pace. Learn what I want to learn, research what I want to research. But I feel like us as older peers in music, we need to stop asking the past questions to the younger generation who were not born then. You need to ask them of the era and time that they were born in and ask them questions. Like I said before, what inspires you to do music? Who inspired you to do music? Where does your sound come from? What makes you say the things that you say? And plus, ignore the drug questions, because I guarantee a lot of these younger Xanax babies now can go on and on about it and tell you more things about it than we know. Don't ask them about the gang violence, the drug. Don't ask about the guns, the shootings. They weren't raised and born on that. They weren't. They were more raised and born into the Grand Theft Auto 5 era, the PS4 era, Xbox One stuff, the MB, the 2K babies. Ask them type of questions. But us as older individuals, there's a reason why we say what we say to them, and it's not their fault. It's our fault. We're to blame. Don't ask them to freestyle, because they don't know what a freestyle is. They don't know how to really rhyme or write a song or actually rap like that to save their lives. They don't. They know, yeah, okays, ad-libs, just kind of talk like they're out of it, mumbling and not doing anything, and just throw on something that's watered down that sounds great. That's what they know. And it just like I forgot, it was Metro Boomin, I think. I could be wrong. That it was something that Drama said when he threw on a beat for Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty couldn't freestyle on it because he doesn't know who that person was. That's not what he does. That's not him. He doesn't rap. And I forgot the actual text and everything that was said, but one of the older individuals who did talk to Drama, and said, "You're right. It's not Yachty's fault. It's yours." To where, this younger generation, they don't know what battling is. They do not. But we just need to really stop asking these past questions that these kids weren't raised on, not like we were. So that's that. I feel like this really need to be spoken on. It's not the younger generation's fault. It's our fault. Because there came to a certain point now where we got old, stopped listening to what we listened to, maybe still do here and there, didn't care much for teaching, and now that we see what the rate is with music is going from sound, lyrics, fashion, why are they looking the way they look, like a cartoon weird character, or a weirdo, I guess. We all had our styles that came and went, and a lot of the older individuals around us maybe thought that was weird. We're always going to think something's weird, or it's not right, or it should be this or should be that. Do I think colored hair with dreads are a weird thing? Yes. But that's what's in, and we got to either accept it or move on. Me, I'm moving on. It is what it is. But we failed for teachings as an older individuals. We failed to have guide. We failed to guide the younger generation. We let video game streamings, online, social media sites raise them, and that's why they say the things they say now when it comes to asking certain questions, because they don't know. So yeah, we failed them. They didn't fail us. And I just wanted to get this out because I feel like something that does need to be addressed. So thank you, and